It's a dark and rainy night in Raccoon City. Leon Kennedy, a rookie police officer, decides to pull into a gas station before heading into the city. Only something isn't right here. He hears a noise from inside the gas station and decides to see what is going on. Once inside, he sees a man being attacked and eaten alive. He escapes this horrific scene and meets Claire Redfield.
Don't shoot! Get down!
Leon and Claire become surrounded. And they escape, traveling into the city to find answers as to what is happening to Raccoon City. Once making it to the city, Leon and Claire are separated. And the only thing on their mind is to make it alive to the police station. Once there, they realize they might be the only person alive in the station, and that is probably going to be the longest night of their life. This is Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2 is a remake of the original Resident Evil 2 with the engine used in Resident Evil 7. Unlike other HD remasters and remakes of the other Resident Evil games, this is built from the ground up with the engine used from Resident Evil 7. Capcom decided to take all the best elements from the previous Resident Evil games and make something completely new, while also having the best elements we loved from the original Resident Evil 2. At the start, you are given the choice of either choosing to play as Leon and Claire, giving the player a choice on how they want to experience the story of Resident Evil 2. Both of the characters have a different campaign, along with different weapons, giving each playthrough something unique. Once you have completed either playthrough as Claire or Leon, you have a choice of a second playthrough. This time, there are significant differences, giving Resident Evil 2 a massive replayability factor. Along with these campaigns, there are smaller side levels played from different characters, each trying to escape from Raccoon City, with their own side objectives along the way. For the video, what you are seeing is the first Leon campaign. I would classify the Resident Evil 2 remake as a completely different game compared to its predecessor. Everything is different, from the levels giving its own atmosphere that leaves you cautious at every turn, to the engine being absolutely gorgeous. You can definitely tell the intricate details from Leon and Claire's facial animations to the zombies walking around. Sound is something that this remake does right. In each room you might hear something from the distance that you'll have to investigate. Or while you're walking through the corridors, you might hear the rain beating outside with zombies banging on the window trying to get in. Or you might not hear anything at all but your own footsteps. It leaves an eerie suspicion in your gut and what you might find in the next room. Lack of music leaves the player with only the atmosphere of the location, and that's something a good survival horror game definitely needs. Lighting is also something majorly improved in this game. In layman's terms, it's dark. Lighting plays a crucial role in the game. Your flashlight will be your best friend. It's genuinely scary when you walk into a dark room or through a dark corridor with only the source of lighting coming from your flashlight or from the lighting outside. This allows the game to develop more atmosphere to it, leaving the player unsure of what might be in a room. You feel a lot safer in highly lit rooms than you would in being in dark rooms. As for the camera, the Resident Evil 2 remake has changed from traditional tank controls that the original used to a third-person perspective. Rather than change from angle to angle waiting to see what might be waiting like some shambling zombies, you have to keep mindful of all of your surroundings. With this camera angle, you'll be able to even see all the gory details of each of your enemies. Since there is a change in the camera, there's obviously a change in the combat. This is now a third-person over-the-shoulder game. When aiming, you'll notice you'll have to give your character some time to line up the right shot. You can either aim down the sights and shoot immediately, and there might be a chance that you hit your target, or you can wait to line up your shots to get that critical headshot. Alternatively, you can also choose to run past your enemies and save your ammo, since you only have a limited amount, and that zombie might not be worth your time. However, you do need to be careful, because sometimes these zombies might seem like they're down for the count, but they might just come back up later when you're running through the same hallway. Inventory management is also something that the previous Resident Evil games have always left players on their toes thinking about what they might need in order to survive, and it will play a crucial role throughout your playthrough in this game as well. You have to be mindful on what you want to carry with you or what you'll keep in storage. Do you keep that ammo, or do you trade it for gunpowder to craft stronger ammo? Or do you choose to keep that herb for later or use it now when you're struggling? Or do you keep that key item for solving a puzzle that you have to deal with later on? It's all up to you and your choices. Although you start with a limited amount of inventory space, over time you'll be able to find more inventory space as you collect pouches along the way. This helps, but it's still difficult to figure out what you might need at certain points in the game. To go along with trying to find a way out, Leon and Claire will also have to solve some intricate puzzles at certain sections to progress. These puzzles aren't too hard, but they might leave you stumped for a few minutes trying to figure it out. Just be sure that you have the right key items at the right time so that you can solve them in a timely manner and don't have to worry about backtracking to the nearest storage or item box later down the line. Of course, with any good Resident Evil game, there's always amazing enemies to face. You'll face the typical kind of zombies that won't go down with just one headshot, so you have to think strategic if you want to take them all out, or you can just run from them. There are also lickers that make a return from the original Resident Evil 2, and they're vicious. The only best way to take them out is either use a flashbang to stun them, or sit perfectly still so they don't hear you and sneak past them. And these are only some of the few enemies that you'll deal with in the Resident Evil 2 remake. Lastly, let's talk about one element that is unique compared to its predecessor.
Jesus Christ!
This is Mr. X. And that's right, this hulking behemoth will follow you throughout the game, and the only way to survive is to run away. There really isn't a way to combat him at all. All you can do really is to stun him and run away. If dealing with lickers and zombies wasn't something you were too worried about, then you should definitely be worried about him. So if you're looking for something to scare you this Halloween season, and you think you have what it takes to survive the night in Raccoon City, I definitely recommend that you give Resident Evil 2 Remake a shot, and remember to always be mindful of your surroundings.